Well, I'd like to welcome all of you here this morning. Thanks for coming out and braving this weather. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Ed Schukel, the city manager of Mound, and have been involved with the Mound Visions program since its inception. And we have many, many other people here this morning that have been involved in this program, and I'm going to try to acknowledge some of them here as we get going, and then we'll have basically some remarks to be made by some of our officials, and then we'll have a group picture of the contractors, the consultants, the council, as many shovels as we have that we can do out here without getting too wet. And I expect this to go probably no more than a half an hour or so, maybe 45 minutes. Just briefly, the Mound Visions program started in about 1990, 91, in that era. It was basically a brainchild of the city council and the mayor at that time and the staff, feeling that we needed to do something about downtown Mound. Downtown Mound, particularly the commercial district, wasn't what it was in previous years. And what we tried to do with this program is to revitalize it and make it better, strengthen existing business, attract new business. And as we went through the years, we were able to obtain some federal grant money. And as we stand here today, the first grant that we received was an iced tea grant. And for those of you that don't know what iced tea is, it's not what you drink in this text, but it's basically the Intermodal Surface Transportation Efficiency Act. It's a federal grant program that was money that used to go to the interstate highway program to build interstate highways, and the excess federal excise tax on gas that goes for that purpose was transferred to this program. And this Lost Lake Canal project was done under what's called transportation enhancements, and it's obviously an enhancement to our community. It's an enhancement to boat water traffic, and it's going to make the canal more navigable and for use by all boaters who want to use it. It's going to recreate what we used to have here in the early 1900s. I don't think any of you were around at that time. Maybe Frank. He was just a little boy at that time. But we're going to try to recreate that, and I think it's going to be a catalyst for downtown development in the years to come. What I'd like to do right now is introduce our staff person that was primarily responsible for the Mound Visions program, Bruce Chamberlain. Bruce, you want to come up?
Well, it's really fantastic to see a turnout like this on a morning like this. I think it's testament to the community of Mound and the vision that the people of this town have. And you've all worked extremely hard on this project, and I feel privileged to be able to be part of what you all are trying to accomplish with downtown. And I look forward to this being the first project of very many, and a downtown that's very different from today in 5 years. Thanks for the morning. Thank you for being here. I'll pass it back to Ed. Thanks.
We have some distinguished guests with us this morning. First of all, I'd like to introduce what probably should have been, in a lot of people's opinions, the next Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, but it didn't happen that way, Senator Jen Olson.
See if I can do this without tripping over things. Great to be here. These are wonderful showers. They don't dampen our spirits one bit, obviously. It could be snow. We'd be digging our way out. Thank you for coming out, and it's great to have the opportunity to be here. By the way, my spirits aren't dampened either. Where but in Minnesota could things happen like this? We will be in the spotlight all over the world, as we already have been. And I am looking forward to continuing to serve the Mound and this whole area for the next 2 years, at least in the state senate. It has been a great experience for me to be traveling from one end of the state to the other. I wouldn't have traded it for the world. And one of the things you see as you move around this great state is that there are contrasts within our communities. And many of them are communities that have, some are communities that have watched the change in marketing and retailing to the bigger, more discount kind of operations, the Walmarts and the Kmarts, if you will, and moaned at the loss of their downtown. Now, we could do that too in this area because we've got the malls and everything else that are attracting people away. But there are communities that have had one very important ingredient. They've had vision. And they've had vision that says we can be a viable community and we can capitalize on not only our resources but our distinctions and become important. One that stands out in my mind, and many of you may have visited, was a community that at first had fought like mad against the state trail, the Root River Trail. But now Lanesboro celebrates it because it was their survival. They are thriving. And I just want to commend the leaders in Mound who have seen the vision, have caught the vision of what this Mound Westonka area can be by capitalizing on a historical feature, a natural feature, and using it to advantage to build a community that I believe is not only going to be one that makes this a wonderful place to live, but also a wonderful place to come to. So congratulations to all who have had that vision and have pursued it to its conclusion. And I look forward to seeing what this is going to do and what more initiatives it might spark so that this will truly be an important place on the map in this very important state that will be on the map all over the world. Thank you so much.
Representative Steve Smith, I saw him over there camouflaged.
No, I did not just return from hunting. But at 8:15 as I was leaving the house, I got a phone call from my son, Dr. Myers, who fell off the bus into a pool of water, and I had to bring fresh jeans and a sweatshirt. And as I was running out of the house, I grabbed the first gosh darn raincoat I could find, and this is it. My wife, son, and I, my parents, and my sister choose to live in Mound because it's a good town. This is a good project, and we're happy about it. Good luck.
At this time, Mayor Bob Polston.
Well, good morning. Gee, it's nice to see so many people out so bright and early in the rain. There are those people who would say that by kicking off this project that we're going to shake the world in Mound today. It's been a long time coming. I remember back in the late 70s when I first became involved in local government, a guy named Buzz Sykes came to me and he said, there's this plan for Lost Lake that some students at the university has done in order to turn Lost Lake area into some type of a park. And that was really the first that I'd ever heard, and I did look at the plan, and I think Phyllis Jessen remembers some discussion regarding the Lost Lake plan back at that time. But what I'd like to say this morning is how much I appreciate the hard work and dedication that our staff, Ed Schukel and Bruce Chamberlain, put into this project. And there are so many people, there are so many hundreds of people that have been involved in it. I remember the dark days back a couple of years ago when we were going through the retesting of the soils and worried about wetlands and fighting the battles at the watershed district in order to get the permitting in order for this project to go forward. It was not an easy task. It was not easy for all of those people to hang in there and to be to continue to give of their time and their talents. It was a difficult project to pull off. That's why I'm so proud this morning to stand here and welcome you here for the groundbreaking of the Lost Lake project, which is really now a reality. Thank you all for all the hard work that you've done.
I'd like to have Paul Meisel, our Economic Development Commission Chairman.
My name is Paul Meisel. I'm the chairman of the Economic Development Commission. And the last meeting, we were talking about the groundbreaking, and we're different people. Sharon volunteered to bring the balloons, which are hard to see, but they're up there with this wind. And we talked about having a piece of equipment, and we had volunteers for rolls and so forth. And then I talked to Ed last week, and he said, yeah, we're going to have a tent. And I thought, well, that's probably not a bad idea, but I want to say now that I think the tent was a real good idea. I just wanted to give a real short history of the Economic Development Commission. Back in 1988, Dr. Mark Brewer, Jerry Longpree, and myself, we got to talking about development in the city of Mound. Businesses were moving out of the city, and we were starting to see vacant buildings. The three of us got together with city manager Ed Schukel and our mayor at that time, who was Steve Smith, and we asked, kind of as an informal group of volunteers, if a task force couldn't be put together. In December of 1988, Ed Schukel wrote a letter to the city attorney, Kurt Pearson, asking him to draft an ordinance which the mayor and the city council could review. Then, early in 1989, a city ordinance was adopted that officially established an Economic Development Commission. It was to be an all-volunteer commission. We would meet once a month at City Hall. Judy Marshak was elected as our first chairman, and Councilman Ken Smith was our liaison to the city council. At the start, one thing I really remember is there was a lot of people we ran into on the street, and their attitude was, nothing will happen. But we tried not to let that get us down. In fact, it seemed like for every naysayer, there was people who would step forward and volunteer their help. So it just kept us going, even though, like I say, it's been quite a while. We had our setbacks. Things often seem to move forward very, very slowly. But projects like this do take time. It's all part of the democratic process. Every aspect of the project had to be approved, first by one government agency and then by another. And now, finally, the first phase of the Mound Visions project is starting. As we're gathered here today, the weather reminds me a little bit of that the weather was like that first informal meeting that we had. It's been 10 years, almost to the day, since that first meeting. Although the EDC has met monthly for all these years, it is important to note that credit for Mound's redevelopment goes to a great many individuals. Dozens of people have volunteered throughout the many phases of the project. Although I couldn't possibly name everyone, suffice it to say, there's just been a lot of talent which has been tapped into. To sum up, I'd just like to say it can truly be said that people from all over the community came forth to help the EDC make the Mound Visions project a reality. Thank you.
I'd like to have Councilmember Mark Hannes.
What a wonderful day. I'd just like to say that we're really here today to bring Mound into the 21st century. This is really the start of it. We're all very fortunate to be here at this point in time, to be able to watch this incredible transformation that's going to happen in Mound over the next couple of years. I stand here today to thank the countless people, as have others, who've made this happen. That's you, the citizens of Mound. I want to thank all the people who have worked so hard for so long in the planning and study that started really this whole process. The Planning Commission, the Economic Development Commission, the Park and Open Space Commission, citizens groups, planning and design professionals, as well as city staff, played key roles, as well as many, many people before it even got to that stage. I want to thank past administrations of the city as well. They really got the ball rolling and passed it on from administration to administration, and that's really what's made it happen. I thank all of you for that. Tomorrow's Mound citizens will also thank you for that. just think of really what's going on down here. We're talking about a waterway that'll get boats and snowmobiles directly into from Lake Minnetonka into downtown Mound. We're talking about a newly realigned Main Street with on-street parking. We're talking about new buildings that will house existing and new businesses that not only face the lake here, but also are all the way around our downtown business district. We're talking about a new park-like greenway along the lake over here that will be lit. It will have benches. It will also tie into a boardwalk that cuts through a small portion of the wetland here and ties into sidewalks and walkways that really will go all the way around the business district. This whole area is being zoned and designed to really with the pedestrian in mind. We're talking about a new hotel right behind us here. At least we hope we're talking about a new hotel. It's so badly needed for both guests and businesses in town. A lot of us have heard much about the need for this, and I believe that this is well on its way as well. A larger and improved farmers market is in the works. We can look forward to that. There's talk about an ice skating rink down here in the turnaround area, in the dredged area, that will face the holiday lights of downtown Mound in the winter. It really, what I picture is a Currier and Ives type picture. It's really something to be proud of. This is only part of what's going on. There's much more to do, and much more than can be mentioned here today. The city's been careful to select developers and talk to developers that retain ownership in their developments. This is so important because they are motivated to get tenants and maintain tenants in town. That's what's going to bring in the new businesses. The people we're talking to have retail ties. They will be bringing businesses into Mound and also retaining the existing ones. This will result in an improved tax base, but it's also going to bring jobs back to Mound. So important. I believe what's being described here today will become the very identity of Mound in the 21st century. It all begins here today, and I think we should all be very proud. Thank you for coming today, and thanks for the support of this project.
Councilmember Andrea Ahrens.
As usual, my colleague on the council here was the windiest, and anyone who watches council meetings or comes to them knows that Mark always has a few things to say about every issue. I can honestly say this is such a wonderful day for me because I've been on the council since the day the Mound Visions project started. And actually, the reason I even ran for the city council is because so many people said, how come you have to drive into Mound's downtown and see sand piles and salt piles and piles of junk? How come our downtown doesn't have the things that other downtowns have? And so I know there's been a lot of frustration out in the community. People keep hearing that we've been doing things. What's taking so long? We're not seeing anything. Let me tell you, my frustration has been just as focused because I've been at all of these meetings and heard about all of these projects, and so the fruition now for me is it's just wonderful. And I do want to say thank you to all the people who worked so hard on this project, and thank you to all of you for coming. You know, this is a blustery, not the greatest day, and I know there are hundreds of people out in the community just like you who didn't come today, but who are really anxious for this project to keep moving forward. So thank you.
Liz Jensen.
Supposed to speak, so I thought about a few things to say. Certainly welcome and thank you all for coming. It is truly a beautiful day. I think that the weather in many respects can speak volumes of our community this morning. We can succeed in spite of what is thrown at us. I first got involved in Mound politics, if you will, 17 years ago when I was appointed to the Planning Commission, and I'm now finishing my 12th year on the City Council. I've seen change, and I've certainly been part of the frustration because it does take a long time. But we don't have to let things stand in our way. We don't have to let the weather slow us down this morning. We can enjoy the wonderful future that we have coming towards us. It has been a pleasure to be a part of what is and has gone on in town. I really look forward to the wonderful things that will happen and to the continued support and contributions of the members of this community. They're just great. Thank you all for coming. Have a great day.
Leah had mentioned to me before we started that she wasn't sure she wanted to say anything because she's still kind of get over the Pittsburgh defeat of the Packers last night. Are they still in the NFL? I don't remember. Leah Weicker, council member.
Hi, welcome. Being new to the council, I don't want to jump on the coattails of all the people that put in all the hard work. I feel privileged to be able to tweak the details towards the end of this project. Although it's not the end, I feel like it's a beginning of a new downtown, and I'm really excited to help downtown Mound look and feel like a place everyone wants to come to. Thanks.
I'd like to introduce at this time our members of our Economic Development Commission. As you met Paul Meisel. Paul, would you please stand again? He's our chairman. Jerry Longpre. Lonnie Weber. Dr. Mark Brewer. He's in the back there. Jerry Petrowski. Stan Drahos. Sharon Cook. Liz Jensen. And who did I miss? Who did I miss? I think I got everybody there. We also have some former members of the EDC. I see Fred Guttormson here. Fred. And that might be it. At this time, I'd like to ask our president of our Chamber of Commerce, Patty Guttormson, to come up.
Well, this is a fitting day for a wonderful start for the future. And as the president of the Lake Minnetonka Chamber of Commerce, we're welcoming this redevelopment to downtown Mound. We feel it will help all the businesses in all the surrounding communities, and we really appreciate all the hard work that has gone into this. Thank you.
We also have a former member of the City Council who's relaxed and retired, I believe. Phyllis Jessen. Phyllis, you want to stand up? Do you have anything to say, Phyllis? You'd like to come up? Okay, very good. Just a few acknowledgments. By the way, we're on cable television, so if you have all your friends and neighbors that want to see us out here, see you, it'll be shown on Channel 21. We also have some of our consultants here today. I mentioned Bruce earlier. We have Lauren Gordon, who's in the back. He's our assistant city planner from Hoisington Kogler. Mark Kogler, who's a principal in the firm of Hoisington Kogler. And incidentally, Mark and I were back in about 1990 talking about economic development in the city of Mound, and threw some things together, kind of brainstormed and talked about what we could do, and supplemented what was said earlier about what the council and other people involved in downtown Mound revitalization were doing. Ron Wagner, who's with Hawkinson and Associates out of Anoka, they're going to be our contract administrator consultant on the project. John Cameron, our city engineer. John's been very instrumental in the project and has seen to it that we get all the I's dotted and the T's crossed when it comes to dealing with the state. Then we have, Mayor Gabriel Jabor from the city of Orono is here. Mayor. Sorry. And Mayor Cheryl Fisher from the city of Minnetonka. Mayor-elect, I'm sorry. And we have Mayor-elect Pat Meisel from Mound. And Councilmember-elect Bob Brown from Mound. I'd like to acknowledge also the West Tonka School District for providing the risers here so you didn't have to sit on the wood chips this morning. And the fire department for using their chairs. And Jubilee Foods is here with the coffee and donuts and apple cider. I'd like to thank all of these people that contributed. And if I forgot anybody, I apologize. It's a lot of things to remember, I guess, today. Is there anything else that we want to cover this morning before we actually do our groundbreaking? Is there someone here from Ames Construction? I guess I didn't find out if there is somebody here. They're the contractor on the project. They will be involved, of course, in doing the dredging, and we're having a pre-construction meeting on the project a week from, actually next Monday afternoon, and it'll be a meeting of the contractor and all the consultants in the state. Anybody here from the state? I didn't see if anybody here was here from municipal state aid. Okay, because it's a federal grant, the state aid office, state of Minnesota, has to administer the grant for us. So all the payment requests, all the documentation has to be run through them. If I forget anything else, hard to remember everything. I want to also acknowledge a fellow that's sitting in the back there that has a hat on and I think he's got a mustache. Mr. John Wagman. John is one of the abutting owners on the canal, and John never thought this day was ever going to come. He kept calling me all the time. Ed, when are we going to do this? When's this project going to start? I got to go to Texas. I want to know when it's going to start. And John, it's going to start. Good. If there isn't anything else, anybody else have any comments or questions or anything?
Just that this is such a great spirit.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks to Norwest for the balloons. They're still surviving, yeah. I'd like to also acknowledge our police department for handling our traffic concerns this morning. Lenny Harrell in the back. Brad Jaco, who's our sound guy this morning, did an excellent job. Thanks, Brad. And our Public Works Department for arranging for the tent, getting it set up, and for consultants that contributed to the tent and also to the coffee, donuts, and everything else that we have here this morning. So with that, perhaps we can figure out where Lori wants us to be for the photos. We'd like to have the mayor and the council, members of the Economic Development Commission. We don't have all that many shovels, but we'll at least get you all in a picture digging some dirt. So maybe we could do that. Lori, where would you like? Out by the equipment? You want to go out in the rain by the equipment? It won't take all that long. It won't take all that long. You can bring your umbrellas if you like. With that, thanks for coming, and we look forward to our project. And if you ever have any questions about anything about this, please contact us at the City of Mound. Thank you.
And here we have our new council member, Bob Brown.
Thank you very much.
And can you say a few words about the Lost Lake project?
Oh, this is a great day. 28 years ago I moved here and even built a house on Lost Lake because I thought it was going to go, and now here it is. 28 years later, I'm living at Seahorse with the project's going. But I'm behind this project 100%, and it's a great day for Mound to get going, and in the next 3-4 years you're going to see a wonderful change in our town. It's going to be the place to come to, and I'm excited about it.
And you're saying in how many years we're going to be seeing this take place?
I would say it's going to take at least 3 years.
Three years, okay.
To really get things moving, but it's going to be the place to come to.
That's for sure. I know everybody's excited about it. Thank you, and congratulations
Thanks again.
And here we have our fashion expert here. This is Steve Smith.
Well, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Can you say something about the Lost Lake project that would be just real earth-shaking?
Well, I indicated that my wife and I and my son choose to live in Mound because it's a good town. And this is a good project. And we'll see this place change, and it's, I think, going to be very good for this community.
And for our children, too, in the future. There are more jobs available and paths and walkways. It sounds like a real fun project for all the community.
It is, and right now it is pouring down rain, and I apologize for wearing camouflage, but it's the only darn raincoat I could find this morning. But this is a wonderful project. And by the way, I'll point out, as mayor, I set up the Economic Development Task Force that turned into a commission. that now has led the way on this project. So I'm very proud of this and very pleased.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
This is Bruce Chamberlain. He's worked on the project for a while. How long have you worked on this Lost Lake project?
I've worked on the project since 1991, and I'm a consultant to the city. And I've been involved from the inception of the Mound Visions project, so it's been really exciting for me to see this come together.
And you can actually see the finished product too, now that have this vision.
That's right. Yeah, I was involved in putting the design together and doing the construction drawings. So this is fun for me to see.
Are those drawings available for the public to view?
They are. They're at City Hall. They can be viewed by the public.
Good. Okay. Well, we'll try to do that too. And thank you. It's been really exciting to be part of this.
Yes, it has been.
The real definite natives of this area. Am I right, Jerry?
Yes, been here a long time.
Right.
And, 30-some years, 37 years.
Mm-hmm.
No, close to 40, thinking back.
Really?
And, of course, it's a real privilege to have been in this thing from its inception to the point we're at now, because I'll tell you, it was a struggle.
Really?
It's had its ups and its downs, a lot of disbelievers and...
Were you actually on the...
I was on the initial group that came up with this concept.
Okay.
And of course, it's always been our dream. It's going to put us on Lake Minnetonka, and that's where we really belong.
The same year Minnesota is put on the map, is that correct?
Yes. Yes, that's true.
Well, thank you very much for being involved.
Thank you.
You don't know how many people say, well, we never see anything. And now they're going to see something. And I kept telling people, just have faith. It'll happen. And it is.
It is, and it's a good feeling, isn't it?
It's a very good feeling, because this goes back to the early 80s, to a previous city manager who did that thing with the University of Minnesota students on what we could do with Lost Lake.
Are you a native of the community too?
I've lived in the area since 1959.
Oh, well, we consider that a native then.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We've said all these wonderful things. And what is your name?
Joyce Dwinell.
From Jubilee Foods.
Right.
And they're the ones that put out the special...
Coffee and donuts and cider.
Right, and so that warmed up the whole project.
Good.
Can you say a few words about the project? Or your
I can say a lot of words because literally, as Paul mentioned earlier, it started in the upstairs of my, at that time, home office combination in Mound, and we were a little scared, a little disconcerted of how things were going, and we sat down with Jerry Longpre and Mayor Smith and city manager Ed Schukel and just started some discussion and said, this is it. The buck stops here. They've tried to kickstart it several times and it never went. And we took over and just haven't given up yet.
I'm very, very happy about today. It's been a long time coming. We've been working on this thing for 7 or 8 years, and it just seems like you'd run into an obstacle here, an obstacle there, and you thought, my gosh, is this ever going to take place? And finally it's here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're real excited about getting started.
There really is a lot to talk about it. That's what I meant. And now today, the actual beginning of the digging. When are they going to start the dredging?
Within the next couple of weeks. We'll have a pre-construction meeting next Monday, and within the next 2 weeks, they'll actually be under construction. And hopefully we'll complete the about 85% of it this year, with the remainder being done in the summer of 1999.
Is there some reason why they chose the fall to begin the actual dredging project?
It wasn't really the contractor's decision. It was based on, you have to develop plans and specifications, and it takes time because it's a federal grant. You got to go through the federal process. So with all the advertising for bids and development of the plans and specs and all those things, it just took a lot of time. That
just ended up being at this time of the year. I know a lot of people are wondering, why did they choose this time of the year to do this? But
it's actually, in terms of dredging, it's actually a pretty good time because the water will, the way they're planning to dredge it, they'll be able to go actually right into the canal and work within the canal without having to do it from a barge and with the ice and freezing up the water. So.
Will they start at the canal where it comes in from
Right
Lake
from
Minnetonka?
at
Is that
Cooks
where they'll
Bay,
be starting
yep,
now?
right near Bartlett Boulevard, and they'll go up the canal as far as just about where the turnaround area will start near the post office. Yep.
Will you be having some kind of a general meeting for the public to come to at City Hall about what's going on?
We probably will do informational type meetings. We haven't talked about that, but I think we will. And we'll have, of course, articles in the Laker and in the city newsletter, and we'll probably do something on public television as well.
Good. Well, I know all the people are excited about it, so
Thank you
very
Thanks
much for
coming
getting
today.
it going.
All right. Bye-bye.